I have a question about incurring expenses and paying them with my personal credit card. How do I recoup that money that was used for my business, but charged to my personal credit card? My LLC is less than a year old. Jeff Rose.
I'm going to start off with a simple answer. The simple answer is yes, you can pay for stuff with a personal credit card and deduct it in your entity. However, I would advise you to have a personal credit card that you use only for business. It makes life that much simpler.
Or get a business credit card.
Or get a business credit card, absolutely. But yes, you can deduct these expenses. I go out and buy a computer on my personal credit card for my business. I'm going to deduct that on my business.
I'm going to reimburse myself for my business. I think the business needs to reimburse you. If it's a corporation, I think
absolutely, absolutely.
So I go out and I incur an expense on behalf of Anderson. I don't get to write that off as an individual. There's no miscellaneous itemized deductions. They went away in 2017. So Anderson could reimburse me. Anderson cannot write off my computer until it reimburses.
Correct. Very good point.
Yeah. So your company just needs to reimburse you. If you're a sole proprietor, which you shouldn't be because your audit rate's ridiculously high and you always lose your audits because of things like this, they don't know what is personal and what is business. They're all intermixed. They're all just a big hodgepodge. So liability is unlimited. The IRS will go through line after line. Hey, which phone call was business? Which phone call was personal? You can only deduct the business, right? So like you get, everything gets torn up. It's just a mess. In this particular case, you have an LLC, just reimburse yourself and make sure that that LLC is classified as the appropriate entity. If it's a business, it should be taxed, even though it's an LLC, make sure it's taxed as an S Corp or a C Corp, unless it's getting like zero income, like unless it's just a baby, says it's less than a year old, but unless it has no real income. And then somebody says business credit card or debit card. Either one, as long as it's not you personally, to get something. Do companies reimburse when it's a corporation taxed as an S Corp? Yes, they do. You qualify as what's called an accountable plan, 100% deductible to the business. Does the recipient even have to report it, Jeff?
No.
Nope. No employment taxes, no nothing. What if I write you a check for $25,000 for your medical expenses? And if it's a C Corp, I can do that, right?
Yeah.
But I write you a check. Do you have to report it anywhere on your taxes?
I don't have to report any of that.
What if
as long as I've substantiated it?
Yeah.
With you.
Which, me being the employer. And you can't be an employee of your own partnership. You can't be an employee of your own partnership or a sole proprietorship. So the only way you do these reimbursements is if it's a corporation, and then the corporation takes the deduction. If it's a partnership or a sole prop, it really doesn't matter. You're going to write it off on the business because they just assume it's you anyway. I would still do the reimbursement, especially if you have an LLC, because if you don't do that reimbursement, they're going to say, piercing the veil, it's not equitable to enforce the LLC because you didn't respect its separateness. You don't even reimburse your expenses, right? You just use your personal credit card for the business. That could come back to haunt you. So the best bet, guys, period. You incur an expense individually, ask to be reimbursed from your business. Write the check from your business. Even if you have to put money back in, I have to put money into the business and then it writes me a check. That's okay. That's how it works. I have a contribution. That's not income. That's just contribution. And then I have an expense, which creates a loss. And then I can use that loss to offset my other income if I need to.
Correct.
But you always do it the right paper. Anything else to add, sir?
Nope.
Hey guys, if you like this snippet of Tax Tuesday, then I invite you to click the link and actually subscribe to become a Tax Tuesday member. Every other week, we do these live, and you too can ask your questions, and myself and my team will answer your questions on the next Tax Tuesday.